I'm pleased to say I am joined by the gorgeous Claire Pearsall, former Conservative government advisor. Good morning, Claire. How are you? How was your Christmas?
It was very lovely, thank you. And how was yours? How was your birthday?
Oh, yeah, no, good. I'm just permanently jaded now. It's why I can't be bothered with New Year's, because it's sort of, you know, I've done Christmas, done my birthday, and it's like, oh, God, do I have to do something else?
But it's always really overrated.
Oh, it is.
Everything is more expensive.
It's the one day of the year that, frankly, it doesn't make sense. You can, you know, go to a pub any day of the year and not have to pay for it and not have to wait too long at the bar. And then all of a sudden, New Year's Eve, it's like, oh, here you go, 20 quid to just go to your local boozer.
Exactly, and then you have to stand in a queue and you have to get there early because there's no transport, and living out in the countryside, forget it. You can't get anywhere.
Sounds to me as well that even the things that might be slightly more enjoyable, such as, I don't know, going to a fireworks display in the great outdoors, is also a bit of a rained-on parade. Edinburgh Hogmanay has been cancelled. Apparently Scotland's going to be blasted by high winds, heavy rain and snow up there.
But who would have noticed any difference? It's Scotland. They are very used to rain, wind, snow, cold. They're Scottish. This is what they do. This is weather. I'm not sure that cancelling it because they said, oh, we can't ensure that people will be safe, we can't ensure they'll have a good time and they won't be able to be outside. Stick up a hood, put on a scarf, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with holding a sparkler that just turns into like a little, you know, spark? The lure goes and it just ends up a little spark on the end of a sort of drooping metal wire.
But you needn't cancel all of the events. I mean, I can understand if it's very, very wet, then your fireworks aren't going to look so great. But just to shut down the whole city because it's a bit windy seems a little bit.
Do you think it thinks something funny's going on?
I do. And I'm not normally one for the conspiracy theories, but it just feels to me as if they don't want people to be there. They don't want the money to be spent on fireworks, so I think they've spent it elsewhere. I wonder if they hadn't actually got them in the first place.
Oh, so I thought you were going to go down another route.
No.
Because when I first heard, because there's a number of New Year's Eves that have been cancelled, and I'm thinking, are they worried that, I don't know, cars plus pedestrians?
Oh, there is that. I did also wonder, is it that perhaps they don't want to spread around any more germs? They don't want to lock down a city?
Oh, apparently, yeah. There's sort of
suggestions
that the sort of triple hit of whatever it is,
and bird
virus, flu,
wasn't it
going to lock us in our houses
quademic or something that's going around at the minute? But bird flu just around the corner, so perhaps they're just telling everybody not to be in one space.
Is it just around the corner?
Well, if you read certain newspapers, yes. If you read certain newspapers, no. Who knows?
I reckon there's a sort of whole half of the population who'd be quite delighted if we all got locked up again.
Oh, I'm not sure who. Really?
They exist. They're out there, Claire. They loved it.
Are they the ones wearing masks on the tube at the moment?
No, they're the ones who are basically trying to stab you, the ones with masks on the tube.
Right, OK, just so I know. They're
the ones on the bicycles coming after your phone.
Yeah,
those are the only people. Whenever you see someone now in a medical mask, you're like, all right, you're just trying to avoid detection. Yeah. Especially, you know what I'm talking about. The young kids, hoods up, masks on. You're, oh, worried about COVID, are we? I don't think so. So let's talk about the blimmin' New Year's honours list. I'm just fed up with the New Year's honours list. Rarely now do I look at the New Year's honours list and go, that's nice. Yeah, that's good. That person really deserves that. More often than not, it's like, really? And it's Sir Sadiq Khan. I mean,
words fail me. Really, if we're going to have gongs for people that haven't done very well, I mean, there's a long list of people, but he's right up there, isn't he? So knife crime is higher, congestion in London is higher, taxes in London are higher, and what's to show for it?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
All the people that you'd kind of expect to get gongs, you'd kind of quite like to get gongs, never get them. So, I mean, look, even though I think he's completely ruined the country with his net zero targets and the mass immigration, Boris Johnson was a better London mayor. Sir Boris, where's that? No, nothing there.
Oh,
Nigel Farage, probably the most important politician of a generation. Sir Nigel? Nope, nothing there.
But what about all of those people that work really hard in the community? What about those who do sort of philanthropic things every day of the year that aren't famous, who aren't politicians? Why don't we recognise those people? It's nice to see a couple of sub-postmasters in that list, but I think really they'd quite like their compensation rather than a shiny
Shall we have a little bit of a look? So obviously you've got Sir Sadiq, who is just deeply rude about Donald Trump. Everybody really. Nothing in London is better since he came into power. Stephen Fry, do we like that? Do we not like it? Apparently for his work on mental health, it's like, no, he's a lovey, you just want him in the club.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to like Stephen Fry. I've gone off him.
I used to like him. I used to find him very funny.
And very intelligent.
Very, very intelligent. But then he just sort of went a bit, I don't know, hand-wringing. And I'm not keen on that.
Yeah, exactly. He was funny, he was intelligent, he was a little bit subversive on some level.
He was.
And then he sort of became one of those, a whiner.
Yeah.
A sort of Ramona. And then ever since Brexit malfunctioned a lot of people. They didn't take it well. And then that's it. They changed their lives to a life of misery and moaning.
And he turns up in a sweater, looking sensible. And you can imagine he's got sensible shoes on. And it's that kind of image. I liked him when he was a little bit...
kooky and dapper,
off the
caddish.
wall. Yeah, and really sharp with his humour.
Yeah.
And I liked that. You knew that when he was going to come out with something, it was going to be quite cutting. And, I really enjoyed it. And now he's gone a little bit sort of lovey.
Yeah,
lovey.
that's one. He's got the knighthood for it.
Yeah.
Carey Mulligan. I don't really know why. Apparently she's done things for the arts, charity work and campaigning. Just doesn't really...
The silence says it, everything.
There we go. Okay,
underwhelmed.
we're not bothered by it. Oh, I didn't know this one. There's a knighthood for Lloyd Grossman. I like that. I'm for this.
He does make very good pasta sauces. I have to admit, I love Lloyd Grossman for his cooking shows. It got me interested in cooking a long time ago. This just shows how old I am. I just loved that sort of Boston drawl.
That
he seemed
voice.
very, very authentic at the time, when no one else on the television had that kind of accent.
Have you ever rewatched Through the Keyhole?
Oh, yeah.
It's marvellous. So the other day, the boyfriend and I, we like getting out a bit of sort of heritage 90s programming, and we decided we'd watch back episodes of Through the Keyhole. And the thing that really struck me is how appalling everyone's houses were and how modest. They'd be going into some sort of semi-detached, 1970s urban monstrosity in the outskirts of Swindon, and it'd be like, some sort of top soap star, and, poking about their sort of porcelain pigs and things like that, and you'd just be like, gosh... Everyone, all the celebs now are sort of, their big houses in Essex, Instagram and all of this. Yeah. You go to sort of vintage Through the Keyhole, it's like this guy plays rugby for England. Of course, it was all amateur then, and he lives in a dreadful little house in some sort of, woe-begotten neighbourhood. It's fascinating.
Well, 3-bedroom semi in Slough.
Yeah.
But they were normal people, weren't they? And I think that was half of the sort of interest in that programme, was just sort of looking to see, well, they actually live like the rest of us.
Yes, they did. They had, this is the commemorative china plates from Charles and Diana's wedding, and the photograph of, your first holiday to Lanzarote. Who could it be?
Yes, and the straw camel that Auntie Mavis bought back from Benidorm for them.
It's really worth doing. If someone hasn't done this in life, you need to go back and just for this. It's a weird sort of time machine. It's a sort of portal to another dimension, the long-lost better Britain in which we used to live. Right, who else have we got?
We've got Alan Titchmarsh.
Alan Titch, what's it? I thought he already had stuff. You've got a CBE.
I did, yeah.
I thought he already had everything. I thought it was Lord this, that.
He's probably got a whole shelf full.
That man's in Buckingham Palace more than the king, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Do you reckon he's just moving in? It's like squatters' rights or something.
Yeah, that's it. He probably is the king secretly.
You think? I mean, fair play to him. I quite like Alan Titchmarsh. I'm not sure why he needs another one, but I think we also need to look at Gareth Southgate.
Oh, yeah, of course. Again, a reward for what? England
Coming
not
second.
Winning stuff.
Coming second. I mean, I like him.
He did bring back the waistcoat.
He did bring back the waistcoat, and he is absolutely lovely. When you meet him, he's clever.
He seems lovely.
He is. He's really clever. He's funny. He's quiet. Just not necessarily suited to being a football manager. I mean... I don't know what else you can say.
Did we not get rid of them a bit quickly? Because he did get us into the finals, which was sort of better than anybody else. Should we not be going, oh, we're almost there, let's just keep Gareth a little bit longer, rather than, well, wasn't the win, so off you go.
How long do you do it? How long do you keep somebody on?
He's a young man, is Mr Southgate. He'd grow into that job. Maybe there's just, when you think of Sir Alex Ferguson, he was, not that I know anything, I don't know why we're talking about football.
I was going to say, this is a bad
upon which I know absolutely nothing. But he seemed to be manager of Manchester United forever and did really well. So perhaps that's the trick. You just keep, don't keep changing them out, just keep someone there.
But different personalities. I think Gareth Southgate wanted to sit down and chat with people and work through their problems, and Alex Ferguson shouted at them to get the results. And I think, horses for courses at this point, isn't it? That obviously worked for the Manchester United team, didn't work so well for England. But do we not put enough money into our England football team? Do we not... encourage people to play for longer? I don't know. I mean, I think there's a real problem with sport in this country.
Well, Tom Baker, former Doctor Who, he's got an MBE. Mylene Klass, she's always doing bits and bobs, Mylene, isn't she? She's done quite a good job for sort of opera singing and stuff like that. I barely know any of these people. Kevin Whately, he was Lewis, wasn't he, in Inspector Morse?
Oh, he was, yes. I mean, again, a very nice man, but what's the reason behind it?
I've got a good one.
Go on.
Emily Thornberry, Dame Who.
Do you think that
Isn't she already Baroness Nugent or something?
Yes, Nugie. Yeah, she is. But I think that this is, I'm sorry, you're not in my cabinet, you were never going to be in my cabinet, have a damehood.
Yeah, this is the woman who mocked people with the England flag, basically calling them sort of scroats and racists.
It was that
Get a damehood.
Image from Rochester was the infamous tweet that she put out, which is not very far from where I live. And they were very proud at putting the flags out, and she took to social media to have a go.
The last person you should be sort of making a dame of the realm is someone who hates the national flag and mocks the population. Yeah. And, well, that is, we haven't even got on to old Patricia Hewitt, old pedo Pat with a pie exchange, whatever it is. Let's lower the age of consent to 10. Yeah. Let's legalise incest.
The fact that she was on the MI5 watch list.
Right, and now she's a dame or whatever.
Yeah, I know, and now she's got...
The left-wing always get rewarded for stuff, even though they're dreadful. Could you imagine someone on the right-wing, once upon a time, advocating essentially for paedophilia to be legalised and being on the MI5 watch list? They wouldn't have a looking into politics full stop. No. Their lives and careers would be over, let alone getting access to the palace with a...
Maybe a nice shiny thing. Yeah, I think also when the New Year's honours list come out, do you remember when the Conservatives were in power and put out their sort of version of the honours list, the left wing would tear each and every one of them down, but they don't have that for themselves. It's fine. You can have some failures on there. You can have some people that are on MI5 watch list. Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. If it was the Conservatives, it'll be all over.
We do like Andy Streets getting a night.
We do.
He
like deserves that.
We like that one.
Yeah.
There's been some breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. If you happen to be in the Walsall area, this will affect you because Walsall Healthcare NHS Trust has declared a critical incident over the flu quadsdemic. So one assumes no more beds, ambulances queuing outside, no space in hospital, just a mess, quite frankly.
Don't be ill, don't have an emergency in that area.
Yeah, I mean, it's winter, isn't it? Every year, it's like NHS Trust, like, oh my goodness, it's winter, people get sick, nanas fall over on the ice and we aren't able to cope with it. It's like every single year.
Yeah, so what you just begs the question, what are these people supposed to do in that area if they are seriously ill?
Well, let's hope they're not, basically. But there you are. Walsall Healthcare NHS Trust declares a critical incident over the flu quadsdemic. This is after Wales did that yesterday. I think it was the Welsh Ambulance Trust said they had a critical incident because they were just it's hours to respond to emergency calls. And they said, basically, unless it's a heart attack, please don't phone 999. It's dreadful.
But why are people going to hospital with flu? I understand it affects some people really badly if you have underlying health conditions. For the majority of people... on the sofa, under a blanket.
It's the elderly generation. I mean, I remember when I had flu, people overused the term flu a lot. So, oh, I've got flu. Oh, I think I've got flu. Then one year I actually thought I was going to die and I had to have my boyfriend carry me to the toilet. I was so weak. I felt like I'd been beaten up by Mike Tyson. If someone had put like a bar of gold bullion on the floor right next to my bed and it just required reaching down, I'd be like, forget it. Just can't.
For the majority, it's a heavy cold, but flu is nasty.
When you have flu, you know it's flu. And that's the first time I think in my life I've actually had proper flu. And then you suddenly go, right, I get why this is a worry if you're, in your later years in life.